welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so pleased that you have found us here in the back room on this Sunday evening, and we are hoping you are safe and well and happy, and we are so thrilled that you are joining us here tonight. Just to tell you, I'm your host, Hank Philippi Ryan, your host for this session. I am the USA Today bestselling author of 15, going on 16 novels of suspense. My current book is One Wrong Word, which is displayed so casually behind me on the door. I've won 5 Agathas, 5 Anthonys, and the coveted Mary Higgins Clark Award. I'm also the investigative reporter for Boston's Channel 7 and have won 37 Emmys for investigative reporting. And my biggest triumph is that I just sent in book 16. So I'm very, very happy about that. Yeah, I know. Yay. Let me now introduce you to our 4 fabulous authors, and I will introduce you in alphabetical order. I'm always afraid I'm going to get the alphabetical order wrong, so just forgive me if I did. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome to Lauren Ling Brown. Lauren Ling Brown received a BA in English Literature from Princeton University and an MFA in Film Production with a focus in screenwriting from the USC School of Cinematic Arts. She currently resides in Los Angeles, where she works as a film editor. Her debut novel, hold that up, Lauren, Yay, Society of Lies, is now a Reese's Book Club pick. Yay. Welcome, Lauren, and congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you today.
We are too. And today, because Lauren is in California.
Yes.
Where it's darkest. Our next author, Julia Dahl, hey Julia, is the author of 5 novels, including her newest, I Dreamed of Falling. She's also written The Missing Hours and Invisible City, which was a finalist for the Edgar Award for Best First Novel, one of the Boston Globe's best books of 2014, and has been translated into 8 languages. A former reporter for CBS News and the New York Post, she now teaches journalism at NYU. Welcome, Julia.
Hello from the Hudson Valley. Great to see you all. I can't wait.
Our next author, Mindy Mejia, is a CPA and a graduate of Hamline University MFA program. She lives in the Twin Cities with her family and is the author of Strike Me Down, Everything You Want Me to Be, and Leave No Trace. To Catch a Storm was the first of her first series and was a USA Today bestseller, and her brand new book is A World of Hurt, which is just out. Yes, indeed, Vanna. Thank you, Mindy, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me back, Hank. I love the back room. This is great.
Yeah. Thank you. We do too, and we love having you. Thank you. And Beatriz Williams is the best-selling author of over a dozen novels, including The Beach at Summerley, Our Woman in Moscow, and The Summer Wives, as well as 4 other novels co-written with Lauren Willig and Karen White, including their newest, The Author's Guide to Murder. And there we go. Look at that gorgeous thing. I love that. A native of Seattle, she graduated from Stanford University and earned an MBA in finance from Columbia University. Totally different thing. She lives with her husband and 4 children near the Connecticut shore, where she divides her time between, and she wrote this, divides her time between writing and laundry. But let's get started now with the game of not quite 20 questions, and I'll ask you the questions that as in the order that I see you on the screen. So the first is Beatriz. Let me ask you.
Lucky me. Okay.
So let me ask you, here's your real question, Beatriz, is what was your least favorite class in school?
Golly. You mean like high school or college or?
Anything you want.
Okay. I guess I'll go back to high school. And I'll probably I actually ended up liking that economics class because we happened to have this economics class, back in my sophomore year of high school, and we were supposed to keep track of stocks on this, we had our little portfolio. And back when you had to look up stock prices in the Wall Street Journal. And then the day that we were always looked it up was Tuesday, and it happened to be the fall of 1987. So like all our portfolios, we open up on like Tuesday and it's crash. So, that wasn't I can't think of my least favorite class because I kind of never picked a class that I wasn't going to like, but that was a bummer that Tuesday morning.
But what a wonderful way of learning about
that. Not just for you.
Yes. Yeah. That was let's go with this least favorite moment in a class. That was my
Anyway, onward. Mindy, we could talk about this forever. Mindy, what was your first job?
Oh, my first job was at an apple orchard, which seems very seasonal right now. I picked apples and I got to drive the car too, even though I was like 14. They let me drive around the orchard and, carry stuff around. So that was a fun job. It was all paid under the table though, so I don't know how above the board the whole thing was. I probably wasn't supposed to be working, but it was fun. It was a fun first job.
What kind of apples?
Oh, all sorts. I remember Macintosh being a big thing. But you shouldn't have asked me about, your Apple preferences. I could just bring you up. I could bring up the orders. That's about it.
That's great. Oh, that's a fun first job. Lauren,
Mhm.
crossword puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, or Wordle, or no puzzles at all?
I like crossword puzzles the best.
Which ones do
Yeah.
you like, and do you do them in ink?
I do the one at the back of the New Yorker mostly, and
Fun one.
I do them in ink just because I don't have any pencils around, and then I have to scratch them out, and then
Or like when you write the letters really, really lightly, because it may not be right in ink. But
Yeah.
really lightly.
yes, and I get them all wrong. I'm never that good at them, but I do enjoy it from
I do
time to
too.
time.
Yeah, I do too. How many of you do crossword puzzles? No, nobody.
I do Sudoku because I like, I'm always words all day long. So I like something that's numbers and logic and patterns. And I can't, I feel like I need a break from the words.
I
My
can't.
grandma did them until the day she died at
Oh.
94. She did the
Wow.
Chicago Tribune crossword puzzle.
Wow.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Julia, what is the most beautiful place you've ever seen?
Oh my God, what a great question. Probably it's like a tie between Hawaii and Costa Rica. I'm a total beach person. Like when I think of, what's the happy place? It's me floating on my back in the ocean, either in Hawaii or Costa Rica. So one of those places, and I actually am just booked the hotel. My family are going to Costa Rica in February, which in New York is when you like it's the depths of nightmare.
yeah.
I'm from California originally, but I've lived in New York most of my adult life, and I hate the winter still. Like I'll never get over it. So we get to go to Costa Rica in February. I can't wait.
That's great. Bon voyage. That'll
Yes.
be wonderful. Beatrice, we'll have you first. What book are you recommending?
Yes, I don't have it with me because it's not out yet. I don't have a copy yet, but it's Marie Benedict's Queens of Crime. I was lucky enough to read this when an advanced copy of it, and it is so fun. It's a little bit of a departure for Marie. But you remember she did write The Mystery of Mrs. Christie about the disappearance of Agatha Christie, so it kind of goes into that world again, and it's the all these wonderful 1930s female mystery writers, and they sort of band together to solve a crime. And it's so good. And it's just so full. If you love, the Dorothy Sayers and all these amazing women out there writing mysteries in the 1920s and 30s, this is for you. It's just...
I read about that book, and I thought, oh, why didn't I think of that? It's
I know, that's one of those ideas being, oh, duh, why didn't I think of that? I know.
Exactly. All right. The Queens of Crime by Marie Benedict. And you can see the cover in the graphic, and we will put that in the chat in a moment. Mindy, what book are you recommending?
I am recommending Through the Midnight Door by Katrina Monroe. We are in peak spooky season, and so I had to recommend one of my favorite horror writers, Katrina Monroe. This is her third book. She's fabulous because it's not gory, it's not jump scares, which I have a problem with. It's kind of horror light, and she exquisitely writes about broken families, and the tenderness with which she writes about those characters combined with just the dichotomy of the horror, it's perfection. So if you are in the mood for a very spooky read, I highly recommend Through the Midnight Door, which is also a homage to Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh,
Very cool.
so scary. We should invite Katrina to the back room. So let us know
Absolutely.
let us know how to find her. Lauren, what book are you recommending?
I'm recommending You Know What You Did by Katie Wen. And she's also a debut author. And this is just a very twisty psychological thriller about a Vietnamese American woman who's an artist, and her art patron goes missing. And she's also dealing with the death of her mother. And it's just, it has layers of depth, but it's also twisty and pretty scary because she has OCD. So if you like psychological thrillers.
I read that book. I loved it.
Cool.
Katie Wynn is so cool. And that book
Yes.
is so layered and twisty and just it's really immersive. Such a good book. Such a good book. And Julia, what about you?
I am recommending Safe and Sound by Laura McHugh. Laura, who I have read all her books and love her. I love her so much that she beat me for the best first thriller award, and she's still like one of my very, very best friends. But she writes, I think of her as like the Bard of the Ozarks. So she writes about the Ozarks, sort of rural, small town, Missouri area, and Safe and Sound. She writes a lot about women and the particular dangers of frankly being a woman in that space. But this book especially is really about trying to leave where you grew up and all the various forces that machinate to pull you back. And she's just a beautiful writer. She creates these really interesting kind of non-traditional families. And it's, if you, like instead of going to a diner to understand why people are, maybe I mean, I'm not going to bring politics into it, but this is like a world that frankly, I feel like a lot of literature doesn't give us these days, is the sort of the rural backwoods of flyover America, and Laura makes it into something really beautiful and
She's a wonderful writer.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of hers as well. Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.